All right, I think YouTube is up now too. I live stream on both TikTok and YouTube at the same exact time. TikTok, I do it off my phone. YouTube, I do it on the computer. Um, so we in here. Let me see. While YouTube is loading up, I guess we talk about Impressions Expo coming up to no starts on Thursday. Thursday to Sunday coming up this week in Long Beach, California. If you're going, let me know. I'll be out there Thursday for sure. I'm still trying to figure out the other days right now currently, but Thursday for sure I'll be out there. Um, if you're going, if you're attending, um, let me know. If you don't know what Impressions is, brief, quick little rundown. Impressions Expo is basically a trade show for garment decorators, whether you print on t-shirts, hoodies, hats, anything, bags, embellish on anything. This is where you want to be because you could touch and feel all the samples. You could check out a bunch of blank t-shirts. You could find transfer companies, printers, embroidery machines, anything you could think of for decorating on garments. It's under one roof at the Long Beach Convention Center this weekend. Well, Thursday to Saturday. Diz, what's going on? Shayna, what's up? Kelly 310, what's going down? Alvin, what's happening? First time checking in on a live. Appreciate that, man. Andrew, what's up? Watch your videos from Kentucky. Kentucky checking in. That's right. What's happening? Um, yeah, we're just talking about Impressions Expo coming up. Basically, in a day or two in Long Beach, California. This is the biggest one um, of the year. It travels around the country. I know it goes to Atlantic City. I think it might go to Florida. I think it might go to Texas, something like that. But it's coming to Long Beach. It comes here every third weekend of January. DJ Mike, what's happening? Um, Alex Beecroft said, missing Long Beach again. Damn. Let me know when you check out Pitbull. I actually went out to Pitbull last Friday. I went to their showroom and to their warehouse on Friday, this past Friday, in downtown LA, and checked out everything they had to offer. Everything they're launching at the show looked cool. It was whatever to me, but their stuff is set up dope as hell, man. But I was out there at their showroom and warehouse. I just wanted to get a head start before getting out to the show and dealing with all the hoopla that comes with the show. So I wanted to go out, see what they have. Their showroom set up really dope. They have a lot of dope hats to offer with like huge branding and stuff like that. Are you gonna go live at the event? Nah, I won't be going live at the event. The internet sucks in there for one, and then two, there's just so much going on that I wouldn't be able to go live. Um, Let me see. Same here. First time interacting, but your videos help start everything up for me for the past 5 years. That's what I'm talking about. Andrew, get that money, man. That's dope. Their colorways are crazy. Yeah, I agree. Colorways are dope. Everything about the hats are clean, dope as hell. I went to go check out some stuff, see what they have to offer. And Pitbull to me is really clean products. Their pricing isn't where I want it to be because their pricing is still kind of high, but competitive with Otto and Yupong and stuff like that. It's just to me, it's like, if I'm gonna be paying for something, I don't want to be paying for like all that extra branding on the hats, if that makes any sense. Um, but knowing where their location is, where their showroom is, and where to order and buy and stuff like that, and pick up my orders from, dope as hell. They're in downtown LA, kind of tucked away, but the best place to see everything they have to offer is obviously going to be at the show. Let me see. So if you guys are attending the show, man, I highly recommend checking out. They always have a dope booth, anyways, like a really, really dope. Doug says the first time going. Hell yeah, should be. I'll tell you this, man. Right when you walk into this thing, very overwhelming in the sense of there's just a million things going on at the show. Machines going off, there's music going, there's big booths, small booths, there's just a million things to look at, so it gets overwhelming. But cruise that thing, do a few laps, you know what I mean? Get adjusted, see what's going on, and then you'll be good. Hopefully see you over there, man. Sir, I used to watch your videos in 2020, but went to prison for 5 years, just paroled July 2025. Hell yeah. Welcome home, Alvin. And picking back up from where I left off. Had to get everything new again. All my machines sat idle. That's what I'm talking about, man. Get that money. Welcome home, too. Let me see. About to buy a heat press for tumblers and hats. Hell yeah. The tumbler heat press that I got is the Heat Press Nation one. I've used two. I've used the Craft Pro from Heat Press Nation, the tumbler press or mug press, and then I used the Signature Series one. And the Signature Series had like different size tumbler presses, so you could do like coffee mugs, and then you could do like the bigger tumblers. You could do all kind of different stuff, tapered off ones. I use those two. To me, they work pretty dope. What blank brand would you recommend when looking to start a luxury brand, kind of like essentials? I would say AS Color. AS Color has the same quality blank t-shirts as essentials as some of your favorite streetwear brands. Some of your favorite streetwear brands use AS Color. They have a bunch of different options, so that's where I would start first. Is AS Color, to me, hands down, highest quality blank t-shirts, but you got to remember those blank t-shirts come with a very premium price tag. Premium shirts cost premium money. Let me see. Check out Adams Cap Hats and Caps, Sanmar, Alpha Broder, SNS Apparel has them. Not sure what you're talking about, Alex. Let me see. Customs was going down. Let me see. So maybe 4 Signature Series to do both mugs and tumblers. Hell yeah. I've learned most of my knowledge from you, so thank you. That's what I'm talking about. Get that money, man. Yes, sir. AS Color is fire. I like AS Color. Like that to me is probably, I talk about them in every live stream, or you guys hear me talking about them all the time. Not a lot of people talk about them for whatever reason, but for myself, I enjoy their blanks. I like wearing them. I wear their shirts. Like I wear the classic t-shirt blank. Like when I'm just wearing black or white t-shirts, it's usually that. Been watching your content since 2017. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Cupheads, transition to tumblers. Thank you for all the game. Not a problem. Thanks for watching for that long, man. 2017, almost 10 years in. That's what I'm talking about. Have you tried DTF Puff? I have not tried DTF Puff. The puff that I've been using is the screen printed puff. Um, One of the puff transfers that I really enjoy using right now is the Atlanta Vinyl stuff. Atlanta Vinyl has a dope puff. 613 has a dope puff. Those are the only ones I could think of off the top of my head. Bro, let me see. Been following you since you and Stan Banks started. That's what I'm talking about, man. Stefan is my name. I appreciate that. Shout out to Stan Banks. I heard that he's not going to be at the Impressions Expo, man. Usually he's here. Usually he's at all the shows, but usually he's out here in Long Beach. But I heard he's not going to be there. Hello Westy going to be there, checking in on Friday. That's right. Let me see. What's your feeling on the dual HPN press? I think those things are dope, man. If my shop would allow it, I would like the pneumatic one, the pneumatic dual station true spec, but I can't have air or compressors in my shop. So I'm looking at the electric dual station ones, but I just got to make room in my shop for them. But there is a big need and a big use for it in my shop. So I'm hoping to get one this year. We'll see. Adams is a hat company out in New England. Oh, all right. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So how do you break down price of gang sheets of a DTF that's 24 by 24? What you pay for it and how many things you gang up on it is how you break it down. Let's say you only put 4 prints on there on that 24 by 24. And let's say that thing costs you $4. the breakdown would be $1 a print, right? Because you paid $4, you only put 4 prints on a 24 by 24. That's what it is. That's how you break down, simple and easy as possible. Let me see. What day you're gonna go? I'm gonna be there Thursday for sure. Locked in Thursday. Friday's up in the air because I don't know what time, and then Saturday for sure I won't be there. Um, I do low profile garment dyed ones, working on the neon for the summer. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I buy different types of models and have them set out together to just feel and visualize crazy colorways and heavy models. Shirts and hoodies are my go-to. Yeah, self-sustain. No, I haven't seen that. Let me see. And it's local to me. Oh, I think you're talking about Adams hats. Yeah, I've never heard of Adams or seen them. If they're at the show, I'll check them out. That hat's fire. Appreciate that. I think your name's Spoof Threads. I appreciate that, man. Brown corduroy all the way around. A-frame, 5 panel. I wear a 7 and 5/8 fitted hat. That's how many snaps I'm on. Your consistency is inspiring. Yeah, I appreciate that. When it comes to like posting videos, recording content, um, any chance I get, I'll set the camera up. When I was stitching hats like these, when I was stitching, just if I'm doing anything, I'll figure out a way to set the camera up and record what I'm doing. The more I bank up in my camera roll, the more I have to edit and post. So I try to get into the habit of just recording everything I'm doing. That way I could like post stuff up. You know what I mean? Tuning in to say hello and thank you, Big Bruh, for the best advice I ever gotten. Sell what your customers want to wear. Hell yeah, that's it. Not what I want to make. Business is growing every day, slowly but surely. It as long as it's growing, man. Forward progress is forward progress. Doesn't matter how fast it's going, but as long as it's moving, it's moving. Let me see. Does the embroidery cost different on a cotton hat, foam front, or corduroy hats? I think the cost of embroidery is the same. It doesn't matter on what you're stitching on. It'll be the same. Process is the same. Everything is the same. Been doing homework on how to ship merchandise. Is it wise to charge the way I ship? Um, Let me see. Been doing homework on how to ship merchandise. Is it wise to charge the way I ship? Um, for me, when it comes to shipping, the customer pays shipping in whole. I don't foot the bill on any of that. I don't eat the cost on any of that. Andrew said all that was for ASK. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Hell yeah. Did you get your golf line? Nah, no golf line, but I have sourced some things that I do want to put some golf stuff on. I just haven't got around to actually doing it. If you're on Patreon, you've seen the brand that I just started and kind of where I'm like getting started, where it's like showing the very beginnings of this is my very first Instagram reel I'm posting up. These are the views I'm getting. This is the intention behind it. I just posted that on Patreon, I think today, screenshots of like everything that I'm doing. So on there, I'm gonna start a brand from the ground up to show exactly everything I do on how I have no products right now for the brand, but I'm gonna show how to build brand awareness on there. And then from there, launch products eventually and show how I'm getting sales and marketing the products and all that good stuff. So I just put up the first post today on Patreon just to show how it's working out. Um, to me, when I say how to do things, it's easy to me because I've been doing it for so long. But I understand some people need to like really see the process. And the last time that I did this was I did it for the churro page, and then before that I did it for leftovers. And it's just walking you guys through the process on like when I say if you don't have any products, you should start your social media now and start building the brand now, telling your brand story. I'm basically showing that process on Patreon right now. So then that way you could follow along, like, this is what I do, this is how I do it, this is everything that's happening. There's no fluff, there's no like, oh, this guy's doing this because of that. I'm showing everything, sending screenshots. I'm showing this is like the post I did today was like my first reel that I put up, only got like 200 views or something like that. So I'm not like out the gate knowing what I'm doing. I'm just trying to find the flow on where my demographic's going to be, my target audience, and then I'm just going to feed them content until I'm ready to launch a product. All about building brand awareness, all about finding your customers, and then all about knowing your customers is what I'm showing currently right now. Let me see. So before I do the golf stuff and anything like that, I want to get this little brand off the ground just so people could see how I do it, and then basically apply those same principles to the golf stuff, apply those same principles to other brands that I'm going to be starting this year. If I wanted to get an influencer to wear my clothes, do you give them a free shirt? You can if you wanted to, but you got to understand, like, what are you trying to accomplish by having the influencer wear your shirt? I guess that's the best way of putting it. Or are you just looking for their following to see your product? Or are you wanting that influencer to talk about your product? Or are you looking for just pictures and screenshots of the person wearing your product so you could post it to your social media saying, this guy wears my stuff? You have to go into it with real clear intentions to see if you're actually going to get what you want out of it. That makes sense. I'm in Stan Banks's course. He's not going to Long Beach. He has another commitment. Okay, yeah. He's usually there, and I heard he wasn't going to be there, so I was like, damn. All good though, man. Are you doing TikTok shop? I'm not doing TikTok shop. Where can I get good fonts? If you looked at, I have a link in my bio on TikTok. There's a custom fonts link right there. But I will say they don't just cost a few bucks. They're kind of expensive. The reason why when you buy fonts and stuff like that, if you just get the free ones, everybody's going to have that same font. Everybody's going to be using it the same exact way. It just gets overused. It happens all the time. You limit that when you pay for the fonts. So then, if you find like a dope ass font that you like, and then you're like, oh, you know what, this one's dope. Like this one right here. Like, say you wanted to like get the same exact font, you could get it, but you have to pay for it. And then it limits the pool down because not everybody's going to want to pay for the font because they don't know if they're going to be able to make money off that font, like using it, selling t-shirts and stuff like that. They're not 100% sure. So it limits the people that actually use it. So there's a benefit to actually paying for the fonts instead of just using the free ones. When it comes to setting yourself aside from everybody else, it helps. But there is a custom fonts link for you so you can check it out. Cuphead said, I remember when you did that with the churro shirts. Yeah, that was the last time I did it. So I'm doing something similar to that. If you remember, like that step-by-step process that I was doing, I'm doing the same exact thing on Patreon right now, currently. Do you do free shipping on anything over 75 bucks? Yes, I do. Um, Let me see. What is new to the market that you are excited to check out this year? I just posted a video all about those new trends for 2026 on YouTube. Suggest you check that video out because it breaks down everything. I'm talking um like where to source certain things, all the popular thing that's coming out that I've been seeing. Everything is on that video. Bulk vinyl recommendations. Atlanta vinyl's dope. If you wanted to buy like in big rolls, I would go there. Different demographics and areas wear different style shirts. That's exactly true, man. That can't be true enough. Let me see. All right. Love from London. What's happening? London OJ Jr. That's dope as hell. London checking in. What are some sick fonts that you use and wouldn't mind sharing with us for bold letters so that I can mask them? And second, once I buy that heat press for hats, any pointers on good vendors? It all depends on what you're trying to use. the heat press for. If it's just trucker hats and stuff like that, Otto has dope truckers, Yupong has dope truckers, but you have to get trucker hats that are um basically like you got to know the material in the trucker hat. So say if like a trucker hat's made out of like 100% nylon, it's not going to hold up well under the heat. Same thing with like a hat. A hat that's like 100% acrylic and wool is not going to hold up good under the heat. So you're going to have to really look at the material of hats that you want to use. But Otto's dope, AS Color is dope, Yupong is dope. Those are three that could get you by. As far as fonts, all you got to do is go to the custom fonts link in like any of my videos. The description box always has the custom fonts link. My Instagram, my TikTok, all of those have the custom fonts link. You can find all the fonts there for you. Can we send you merch to critique? Yeah, I don't mind people sending merch if they want me to critique it, but just if the idea is you want to send the merch so it could be exposed to the audience, you're probably like barking up the wrong tree, because you got to remember the majority of the people that watch me are just other brand owners also. So it might not be potential customers. And then outside of that, it's I'm not a tastemaker, man. I like I like what I like. I think what I think is cool. But sometimes people send me stuff and their demographic is not me. And I don't like the product because it doesn't fit my vibe or what I would be into. And then it comes off as a negative review, and people are like, yo, man, this guy's hating on. If it's not for me, it's not for me. And you got to remember that if I'm not your target audience, I might not be the best person to critique your stuff. That's just being 1,000% honest with you. A lot of people think just because you're on social media or something that, exposing that brand to the following is going to help. Sometimes it hurts. So as a fair warning, that's what it is if your products don't speak to me, I can't say like, yeah, this is a dope ass product and it's not something that like I'm going to give you my honest opinion on the shit. And if you don't mind the honest opinion floating around social media, whether it's good or bad, by all means, man. But I always tell people, don't do it. It's really not worth it to have your clothing brand critiqued by somebody, because if that person isn't a customer of yours or target audience or something that's up their alley, you're not going to get the best reaction, or you're not going to get the best advice on what it is. Like if I critique it and I'm like, yo, I don't like the placement of this print, but let's say your target audience loves it, and I'm not your target audience, and I'm like, yo, I don't like the placement of this print, it's going to come off negative. You know what I mean? That's why I always tell people, really think about it before you send something, because I'm not a tastemaker. I'm not a trendsetter. I'm not cool in any sense of the word. So it's like this corduroy hat. My customers might love this corduroy hat, right? But I send it out to somebody like, yo, critique this. I want to send you this. Let me know what you think of this hat. And they're like, yo, corduroy sucks. Why is this guy putting this on the corduroy? Like, this hat sucks. Or let's say they don't wear 5-panel hats or A-frame hats. Yo, this A-frame hat sucks. It's going to look bad on the brand because now that's floating around on the internet. But then I didn't do my homework and find out if they would be an actual customer of mine by sending something like that out. You know what I mean? That's when I see people do critiques and reviews and stuff like that of other people's brands. That's what I always think is like, yeah, you might not like it and you might be giving it a bad review because it's not something you like, but chances are that's that review shouldn't even be like, you shouldn't even be reviewing that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion though. Might not be right, or you know what I mean? I'm not trying to sway you from doing anything, but that's just the way I feel on it. I was waiting for my settlement. Just put in my order for the pull out heat press nation signature series. That's what I'm talking about, Richard Anthony. Get that money, man. Let me see. Fat Heck, what's going down? G6 Custom, see you out in Long Beach. Damn, I look forward to catching up with Stan every year. Yeah, same here, man. Same here. Will the building of the golf line only be on Patreon? That part, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to roll that out, or even when I'm going to roll that kind of stuff out. You know what I mean? Let me see. That's what I really need to learn right now. I've only built brick and mortars. Yeah. Right now, the golf line, I don't even know. Right now, I'm just doing the other brand on Patreon right now just to get it going. I plan on launching another brand this year for YouTube, but a little bit different of what I'm doing with the brand on Patreon right now. Kathleen Thompson, what's happening? What type of mics are you wearing? It's so many choices out there. I'm using this Rode mic. That's this rectangle looking one for my phone. And then I'm using this cheap one from Amazon. I don't even remember the name, but it's like these little circle ones. Comes in this little charging case. It's two mics. This one's fairly cheap. It's like 20 bucks on Amazon. This one I think is like $100, I believe. The Rode one. Um, that's what I'm wearing. I got one on the phone, one on the computer. Let me see. Definitely noted. Thanks. What are good materials on hats that hold up with heat? Then cotton, polyester is probably going to be your best bet. Most foam truckers and other hats like snapback hats and stuff are all. Some of them are cotton polyester, and there's a lot that are acrylic and wool. So you got to watch out for the acrylic and wool ones. They don't hold up under heat. They kind of warp, but cotton polyester usually hold up pretty good under the heat. Brenda, where did you find that corduroy hat? Do you take out of state orders for embroidery work? I don't take in any embroidery work. I use my machine just to stitch for myself. I don't stitch for anybody else. As far as this hat right here, um, I made it myself. So this is fully formulated by myself. I've been working with a manufacturer for months now, and just working things out. This is a sample. Um, so I just wanted to see how things would look and work and stuff like that. So I've been doing 6 panel snapbacks is the main thing that I wanted to start making on my own, not to sell like I'm going to be selling blank goods. It's only for my store. It's only for the stuff that I stitch on. That's where I'm going to be selling the stuff. I'm not offering like blanks to the world. I'm not getting into that business. It was more of I just wanted to. I have a big head. I wear a 7 5/8 fitted hat, so it's very hard to find snapbacks that fit bigger head people, people with a lot of hair. Um, I wear 7 5/8, and then this is I'm only on 2 snaps on this hat. So, and with a lot of space, you know what I mean. So when I started looking into like doing hats, I said, "Yo, let me try to do a corduroy one, and then let me see how it is to stitch on it." And then I was like, "Let me see what kind of colors I could do." So obviously, you guys see me wear a lot of brown. So obviously, I went with brown and said, "Let me see if this works or if it doesn't work." But that's what it is, man. Last question. Are you able to get faded distressed effect with DTF? Hell yeah, you can. You got to know one, you have to know how to distress your artwork. You also want to utilize half tones to your advantage when you're trying to do stuff like that to accomplish fades and smoke and smooth gradients into black. You want to really, really utilize half toning. Distressing is pretty easy to build that into your artwork to do through Photoshop or whatever you're using, but just try to, I would say, you check out that t-shirt dude, that underscore t-shirt underscore dude on TikTok and Instagram. He does really dope tutorials. He has access to plugins to make your life a lot easier for half toning. He also sells stuff like distress kits and stuff overlays. But check out his stuff because he walks you step by step through the process of utilizing half tones for your DTF transfers. So if you're trying to um, accomplish that look, that's where you'll start. Let me see. Got you. Thanks. I still use the AS color hats. Yeah, AS color's dope, man. Like for me, the whole reason I went out and started looking for manufacturers and stuff like that, I just wanted to learn the process of creating something checking samples, finding out how the process works, what it costs, um, everything down to like the fitment and stuff like that. So for me, it was just a learning process. I just wanted to see how the stuff worked. So that's why I did it. But yeah, like if you ever see these types of hats in my store, like at my retail store, there's no branding on them. Like I didn't fill it up with like big Brando branding all over it. No, I didn't want to do all that. I just wanted to make some clean hats and that's it. Do you have confidence on how you get paid? Does Shopify have a cash register? Yep. Shopify does have a cash register. They have a point of sale app that can run your full cash register. To me, it's just easy. Shopify is just like dumb easy to use, man. It's crazy. Keep creating. I appreciate that. What brand hat is that? There is no brand. It's just I've been working with a manufacturer to learn how to make hats. Like not me make them, but having a manufacturer make the hats that I want. So this is one of the samples. So they sent me this blank, and then I stitched this thing up. Big Brando $B. My LA script design. There's no branding on here. It's just straight up and down. Just a regular 5-panel corduroy hat that I'm planning on offering. So this is the first sample. I even did it in Dodger Blue, obviously. But this is like a corduroy. I just wanted to try it out, see what it was. So most of my stuff comes with that, made by Big Brando. But yeah, um, so there's no brand or nothing like that. It's just the manufacturer just made it, sent it out. I picked the colors. I said, "Yo, this is what I want it to look like." They sent it in. I stitched them up just to see what was going to happen, how it was going to look, how it stitched, how it fit, how it wore. Um, that's the results. Let me see. I'm scrolling back up. Band in California checking in. What's happening? Chaloso Customs. What's going down? The beauty of critiquing and having different opinions. Yeah, the sad part is when the opinion isn't in the brand's favor or in the person's favor, it ultimately could hurt the business. It's like Yelp. Like Yelp, everybody has an opinion on Yelp. And just because you had one bad experience or the server was having a bad day or it was something that affected your experience, then you go on there and you bash the company or the restaurant or bar or whatever you're reviewing with the Yelp review, and your opinion could ultimately hurt the business. You know what I mean? So that's why for me, when it comes to like reviewing and critiquing stuff online, like brands and stuff, I used to have a segment on my YouTube channel called Boxing Session, and that was just me unboxing people's stuff and giving my review on it. And I was like, man, like if this shit doesn't, like if I'm not gonna wear this stuff and this isn't something I would actually buy, then I can't give my honest review on this because it would never even make it into my cart if I was looking online to buy something. You know what I mean? So it's hard to do that to to brands and stuff like that, to have that floating around the internet and ultimately crippling a business based on my opinion of what they make. Kind of crazy. Um, that's fire. Looks dope. Appreciate that. Let me see. Are you going all in on your hat for my these ones? These are cool. There's a few things I want to switch up. Um, not like a lot, but there's a few things that I want to change up on here that I need to talk to them about. As far as the 6-panel one, I think we have something locked down, but I'm probably not going to get those in for a while. Um, once you buy off the sample, the actual process to get them landed, it takes a little while. So probably, hopefully by summertime, I'll get the regular snapbacks in. So then you guys see me vending at like the festivals and stuff. Hopefully I'll have them ready in time for the festivals. But outside of that, these ones came out fairly cool, man. I wasn't too mad about it. The fit was dope. You know what I mean? What's a good shirt that doesn't really fade fast? AS Color Classic has a dope one. For whatever reason, their shirts really don't fade. I have a lot of wash tests if you want to check them out on my YouTube channel. Just type in Big Brando AS Color, all the videos will pop up for you. What day are you going to be at the expo? I'm going to be there Thursday for sure. Friday, not sure. Saturday, I won't be there. Um, but Thursday for sure, I'll be there. No anarchy symbol like it is on your head. I think that would look cool. That anarchy symbol is a members only thing. So yeah, like if I put it on hats, I can't be selling it to people. You know what I mean? It's basically the logo for the LA Riders. That's the logo that I created for the LA Riders. And basically the people that are part of that are the ones that wear that. Let me see. Best place to buy wholesale apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, women's tank tops. I think AS Colors probably tops for women's stuff for one, and then hoodies, men's stuff, all that because of the options and color options they have. So t-shirts in general, they have off the top of my head, they have the classic. That's what I use. The block, I also use that one. The heavy, I use that one. And then from there, they have basic, staple, um, there's another one. It starts with a B. I can't remember the name of it. Box, maybe. I might be wrong. That might not be it. And then for the women's stuff, they have like 18 different women's things. And then when it comes to colors, I want to say the classic. If you go on AS Colors website, I think the classic comes in like 38 different colors. I think the staple t-shirt comes in damn there's 60 something colors. When it comes to the hoodies, they have the relax, they have the stencil, they have the made line, they have I think they have a heavy line also, I might be wrong, but then also those come with a million different colors. So when it comes to like just having options and having everything under one roof, AS Color to me checks all the boxes. Let me see. Brian said, "My guy bought the HP and True Spec because of you." Hell yeah, man! You guys see me use that thing in my videos. I use that every single day, every day. Love that thing. Let me see. Where do you get the hats from? From a manufacturer. Best place. Oh, I think I just answered that one. Where are they located? AS Colors in Carson, California. Well, they have a warehouse in Carson. They're from New Zealand. They have one in Carson, California, and they have one in North Carolina, I think. Is it Charlotte, North Carolina? I think that's where the other one is. You got to look on their website to find out where the other one is. But I know for a fact one of them's in Carson, California. That's where I get all my stuff from. I like shopping like when it comes to like buying from like suppliers and wholesalers and manufacturers and stuff, I like finding the local ones to myself because I like to just drive and pick my order up. I hate waiting for UPS. I hate waiting for FedEx. I hate just waiting in general for anything to get delivered. So I'd rather just go and pick it up. I was talking earlier. I went to the Pitbull Caps. I went to their showroom and warehouse last week to find out where they're located in case I wanted to use their hats just so I could like go and pick the shit up. Like I wanted to be able to go drive there, pick it up for myself instead of waiting. Um, I call me spoiled, also call me cheap because I don't want to pay for freight and shipping, but I just hate leaving it up to somebody else to deliver my stuff when I could get it right away and then start production right away. If that makes any sense. Sorry, I haven't looked through all your videos. Have you done videos on how to build a brand online? Hell yeah, I have. There's playlists on there specifically for that. Look at the playlist called Starting from Scratch. That'll walk you through it. Look at the playlist called Printing Money. That'll walk you through it. It's basically showing everything. I did a whole series on YouTube when I first got on YouTube, showing how to build the brand online, how to get sales, how to market, how to create concepts, all that good stuff. It's all playlist ready for you, ready to go. I have a True Spec on the way. True Spec is one of the dopest heat presses out, man. I just checked out the T-shirt dude's page. You're right. He's really good, bro. Great recommendation. Man, the T-shirt dude has the best videos because they're all a minute long. He talks smooth, clear, clean. You could hear everything he's talking about, and he's showing you exactly what he's doing. You click here, you go here, do this, create this, blah, blah, blah. The whole process on how to do halftones for DTF prints is specifically like I can't even make a better tutorial on that kind of stuff because of the way he does it. I just refer people to him because it comes off so effortlessly for him. So shout out to Mike, but shout out to that. He used to be called the screen printer Mike. That's what his name used to be, but now he's the t-shirt dude, one of the dopest guys around, man. So check his stuff out if you really need help with like your graphics and stuff like that. He can help out with that. Greetings from Monterey Bay. That's what I'm talking about. Or I think it says greetings from Monterey, the Bay Area. What's happening? Rate my brand on IG. Probably won't be doing it. I probably won't be doing it, especially if I'm not like a customer of yours or something. I probably wouldn't do it. Let me see. Watching from Las Vegas. Do you know anybody in LV selling blanks wholesale? I don't know any. I know there are some out there. I don't know of any, but in Reno, which is very like I know that's far from Vegas, but Reno has SNS Activewear. Their warehouse is there. I live in LA. If I place my order today, like if I place my order, let's say at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, they'll next day ship that thing and I'll receive my shirts the following day. So if it works like that for me in LA, it should work for you in Las Vegas. But I don't know of any like wholesalers, suppliers in Vegas because I never had to source anything in Vegas. So I'm not 100% sure who's out there or what's around there. The easiest way to do stuff like this to find out who's around you is going to these trade shows like the Impressions Expo. So then that way you can talk to the people directly right there and be like, yo, where are you located? Do you have anything in Vegas? And they can tell you right there, oh, we got a distributor here or distribution center here, or we have a warehouse here, or we have a third party supplier that carries our blanks and they're located in Vegas. So that's one of the benefits to going to the Impressions Expo. I think there's one called Printing United that comes to Vegas. So I highly recommend signing up for that one and going. DLKA from New Zealand, what's happening? Hell yeah. What's the biggest mistakes people make when trying to scale up or that you may have made? The biggest mistake a lot of people do is they overlook their customers and they forget to really, really cater to their customers. The reason I say that is because once you get into the business mode, you automatically think the customers just come, but they don't. So always, always put the customer first. And I'm not saying like customer knows best and blah, blah, blah. Not what I'm talking about is knowing your customers. So then that way you can offer your customers exactly what they're interested in. That to me is gold when it comes to scaling the brand, starting the brand, just being sustainable as a brand is knowing your customers and never forgetting your customers. They're always going to tell you what's cool, what's not cool. They have all of the information that you need from them is already on social media now. So all you have to do is just look like that's what I'm saying. It's very important for like brand awareness and brand building to do the research part. The research part is not the glamorous part of running the brand. Like majority of the people just like saying I own a clothing brand or I own a business, and that's the glamorous part for a lot of people. But the research part, meaning finding out your target audience, meaning knowing your customers, doing your homework on your customers. So then that way you could design specifically for the customer and get sales right away. A lot of people overlook this step, and a lot of people do not do this part of the business because they just think, oh man, customers just come. I start a business, customers are going to be knocking on my door. No way. You have to know your customers. Never forget that. Even at your highest heights, you still have to know your customer because they're the ones that's going to be shopping with you, man. And the moment you offer something that they're not interested in, they're not going to buy. And then you start to decline, sales start to take a dip, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? It's because you lost sight of the customer. I will never stop saying that. I will never stop preaching that because it's the most truest thing to me in this business is knowing who I'm selling to every single time. And that's one of the reasons why I started this series on Patreon was just to show people how to do the research, how to go out and find your customers, how to start marketing to the customers, how to start telling the brand story and the business's story on social media before having any products to sell. It's all about adding value to whoever your target audience is, and it's all about just being within that community to build yourself up and make people aware that you even exist. Because if you don't do that, nobody's coming knocking at your door. There's nobody that's going to be like, yo, this new brand started up, I'm going to shop with them. No, that's not how it works. You have to make people aware that you exist. But the easiest way to do it is to know who the customer is first and you go directly to them. And then you start showing what you can do. That's going to be the biggest piece of advice I will always give every brand owner, business owner till I die is knowing your customers. Very important thing to do, very overlooked thing to do. People are going to listen to this and be like, I already know who my customers are. I ain't tripping off that. I already know everything. If you think you know, you really don't know. You really have no idea how it works. Let me see. Odyssey Rock, what's happening? Um, I've been thinking subscription service for customers, but in bundle packages to create recurring revenue. Yeah, if you have something that people want to buy and that are willing to sign up for a subscription, cool. But if you don't, it's going to be a hard sell. Is puff vinyl worth investing? I think it is, man. I used to use puff vinyl all the time when Econo Transfer offered it. I was selling t-shirts and hoodies like crazy with that stuff on there. Um, what is the average wholesale price for an AS Color shirt? I hate going through all the bullshit just to get a t-shirt for $150 each. Um, it all depends on what tier you land in. Like you can't just answer like, "Oh, AS Color blanks cost this much," because if your tier isn't lined up with my tier, then my pricing is going to look different than yours. And it's all based on how much you order. It's all based on where you sign up. Um, so I can't even answer that for one. But let's say the heavy shirt or heavy faded shirt is like $10, something like that, right? And then let's say like the block t-shirt is like $3 to $4. And then maybe like a classic shirt could be anywhere from like $6 to $8. It just all depends. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know what tier you would be on, so I can't say like, yeah, this is how much some shirts cost. But if you're not willing to just like fill out the application to get the wholesale account, then maybe it's not for you, and you just keep using whoever you use. You know what I mean? For me, like I sign up, like I create accounts with like especially going to impressions, when I get back and I'm like, yo, I like these blanks, I like these blanks, I like these blanks, I sign up with all of them. I create accounts with all of them. It it doesn't hurt to have multiple accounts with these wholesalers because now you have the option to shop with them and use them for whatever reasons, right? Like I used to have a Holloway account. That was only because I used to do these jackets for this car club that liked this specific style of jacket. And I was just like, yo, like I know Holloway has that jacket, so I'll sign up. I only used to do work for them, I think once a year, I think it was. I would knock out some jackets for them. So I had the Holloway account just for this one customer. Like I had no other reason to use them. I mean, if somebody came up to me and was like, "Yo, how can I get these jackets?" then I would know where to go. But outside of that, it's about it. Same thing with Augustus. Same thing with like, man, I create accounts with a bunch of people just to have the opportunity to shop with them and use them. You know what I mean? And if I stop using them and they take me off the list or whatever it is, then so be it. But for myself, it's just having access to all this stuff because I can. I just do it. I sign up, and all it is filling out an application. That's all it is. You fill out the wholesale application, what your reseller number is. Bingo. They approve you or they don't approve you. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't know how much of the going through all the bullshit part of filling out the application you're talking about. Like I don't know what entails on your end, but for me, man, it's just name, address, reseller permit, bingo. And most of it, you just do it online. Like you don't even got to do a physical paper. Before you used to have to fill out physical paper. You know what I mean? Let me see. So your feed came up when I Googled how to start a t-shirt business in 2025. Yo, that's dope, man. I didn't even know I was in Google searches. I thought people were just finding me off of YouTube. I'm like you. I will rent a truck, drive 2 hours just to pick up from San Mar in New Jersey. I don't go to Alpha Broder, 45 minutes away. They always treat me like crap. Yeah, that sucks. I'm new to DTF. What are some prices for a DTF gang sheet? Man, the prices vary. It depends on how big of a roll you get. It depends on what printer you're going through. So I don't even know what prices would be for DTF gang sheets. The best thing I would say is all you have to do is go to like the T-shirt Buddy, go to Merch Studios, go to Crispy Prints with a K. Start with those and check out their websites, and their pricing is all on there. They're pretty much competitive with each other, like they're all within range. Find the one that's closest to you. T-shirt Buddy is here in Northern California. Merch Studio, I'm not 100% sure where he's from. He prints dope ass transfers. Mike T's Crispy Prints, I believe he's out in Cleveland. I might be wrong, but I want to say that's where he's out. I maybe Ohio. I can't remember exactly where he's from. But out of those three people, you kind of have the country covered wherever you're from. So then you'll be able to see how much everything costs. But it's based on like how big of a sheet and roll you want. Um, if that makes any sense. I'm always at the Fashion District in downtown LA. Hell yeah. That to me, man, the Fashion District will never be out. The Fashion District to me is always going to be there. They're always going to have what I need. It's just that's always my fail safe backup plan. I need t-shirts, I need hats, I need socks, I need poly mailers, I need bags, I need anything you could think of for a clothing business. It's there. If you needed embroidery, it's there. Screen printing, it's there. Transfers, it's there. DTG services, it's there. Graphic designers are down there. If you wanted to buy all the equipment, it's down there. Downtown LA Fashion District will always be that. And what are the top three or top 3 to 5 booths you excited to see at Impressions? I made a video about this already, but AS Color for one, because of the Made blanks. They have a line called Made, where it's like French terry cloth or something like that. I'm looking at it online is one thing, but then actually seeing it in person and comparing it to what I'm already used to. So I already use the relax hoodies from AS Color, right? So I want to match up the Made hoodie with the relax hoodie side by side, and then I want to be like, yo, like, what's the difference here? What does it feel like? What's the weight difference? All that stuff. So I want to check that out. Real Tree camo hats from them. I want to check their stuff out because I seen an Instagram post from AS Color saying they have Real Tree camo. I want to check that out. The Smart Blank booth, I want to check them out because they always offer dope ass hoodies. You guys see me wear that like faded blue looking hoodie? That's from Smart Blank. They always offer weird stuff, not weird, excuse me, not weird stuff, but like not the normal colors. That brown South Bay hoodie that you guys always see me use and wear and all that, that's from Smart Blank also. So when I see just off the wall colors, it attracts me because I'm just like, so I want to see what they have to offer this year. I'm also looking for hoodies that don't have the fuzzy on the inside. That's the other thing I want to look for. Because I hate when I put on a brand new hoodie and then it leaves like lint balls, and just like that little fuzzy stuff starts to shed onto the t-shirt underneath. I hate that. So I want to find a hoodie that doesn't have that. Um, Obviously looking for more hat vendors, seeing what else is out there of the pre-made stuff outside of like manufacturing your own stuff, seeing what's out there, who's close to me. Um, One of the big reasons I like going with people that are close to me is because it makes my life easier. I said it before, I hate waiting for shipping, I hate paying for shipping, so I just want to pick certain things up. So that's what I do. Um, the other stuff I want to see if Atlanta Vinyl's there. I want to see if they have any more transfers coming out. Pitbull hats is another spot I want to look at because they have everything under the sun you could think of hat wise. But when I was at their showroom, I really like their fitted hats. So I'm trying to see if they're going to offer like new colors or some kind of custom program where you could like say, I want a black bill with like a red crown, or and I want like a black button. I want to see if they're going to offer some sort of customizing functions or features. And then one of the other ones that I want to go check out is 613 Originals. I always like going to their booth to see what they have to offer because they offered a mixed media transfer one year, where it was like the transfer had like flat screen print plastisol ink with puff on top of that, so you could do two colors of mixed media. I thought they were dope. Um, so yeah, there's a few booths that I'm interested in checking out, and then just seeing what else is out there. Maybe there might be some new cool shit that I don't know of. This is where I found manufacturers to make my jackets for me, my Letterman jackets. I also found manufacturers to make like mesh shorts. So when things like that come up, I see who could make it. I get their card, I get their information. So even if I don't have the idea right then and there, I know who to contact. So I could just be like, yo, I want to get this done. Send them tech pack, figure it out, and then go from there. So I want to try to see who other like if there's new manufacturers out there that have quicker turnaround times. I know a lot of people are going and getting stuff done out in Pakistan now. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be any manufacturers that are stateside that use overseas manufacturing, like out in Pakistan. See how that works out. We'll see. I'm like when I go to these things, I ask all the questions that I have in my brain when I'm walking around and I see something cool. I'll just be like, yo, first thing I ask is where you located? And then they'll say it. And if it's somewhere close to me or in Southern California in general, then I'll be like, what's the minimums? Then I'll say, do you guys offer will call pickup? What's the turnaround processing time like? All of these things matter to me because if I place my order in the morning, this is what I'm used to. When All Style used to be in Anaheim, I used to be able to place my order in the morning, pick up in the afternoon from the Anaheim location. Same thing with SNS. When SNS was in Santa Fe Springs, California, I used to place my order in the morning, pick it up. Same thing with Decky. Decky's out here in Compton. Place my order in the morning, pick it up in the afternoon. That's the shit that I like. I want to be able to place my order, pick it up the same day, and get to production right away. That's what I'm going for. So I'm just trying to find more. I know manufacturers and suppliers and wholesalers are all around here. So I'm just trying to see who's close to me. So then maybe we could start, using their blanks or figuring out a way to use them in our own production just to make my life easier as far as just production in general. You know what I mean? That makes any sense. Hope that makes sense. Coach Matt, what's happening? Would it be better to start a clothing brand or a clothing store? That's totally up to you. I can't say which one is better because I've done both. I've sold blanks in a store, and then I've also opened a retail store to sell like clothing brand shit out of. I've done both. They both have their own headaches, but they're both very sustainable. You know what I mean? Um, so much product out there for making t-shirts. I get overwhelmed. It's a very overwhelming thing, but once you figure out like what works just for you and your setup and um your situation. So like let's say you're limited on space, and you can only, have a table this size with a heat press this size. Maybe swing away works better than slide out drawer. That only matters to you and not anybody else. Same exact thing when it comes to like hoodies and blank t-shirts and transfers. Once you figure out what works for you, you stick with it and you build from there. It's easy to get overwhelmed though. Fino's finest, was happening. The reason you get the fuzzies off of garments is because the cheap manufacturers don't wash the fabric first. So when you talk, ask if they wash before they cut and sew. That's true and not true. Because there's a manufacturer that I know that pre-washes a lot of their stuff, especially for the pigment dyed stuff, and it still leaves those fuzzies on there. So it doesn't eliminate it completely. You know what I mean? Because one of the hoodies that I offered, the pigment dyed gray, the washed out one, is pre-washed also, and still the same thing. You still get the same exact fuzz balls. But what I notice is there are some that don't have the fuzz on the inside, and those are the hoodies that I'm looking for. How's the temp in that hat? I shave my head and it gets hot as hell in Texas, but that hat looks dope as hell. I shave my head also. So far, not so bad. But I also haven't like put it through its whole paces. This is a sample hat. So I had got these hats made. They sent me a sample because this is a specific color that I asked for in corduroy all the way around. So they sent it. I embroidered on it. So then that way I could test it out. So I'm trying to figure that part out. You know what I mean? Once I wear it a little bit more, then I'll see if I like it, if it breathes right, if it just that's the whole thing with testing out samples, is putting it through its paces. You know what I mean? But this is what it looks like. And then I also did Dodger blue also. Well, royal blue, not actual Dodger blue. Same exact thing. This was a sample, and then I just embroidered on it myself. So has my embroidery, uh, my logo, sticker. So I just need to test them out, see how they work. Let me see. How's the new True Spec heat press? I'm looking to get one. I love that thing. I run that press every day. Since I've got it, we have put, I forgot what the total count was, but it was like over 35,000 t-shirts through that thing since we got it. I do like Pitbull hats over the years. Yeah, man, when I went to the showroom, there's so many dope things. I was like, yo, this is fucking crazy. All Sport is a really good brand for hoodies and t-shirts. I've never heard of All Sport. Royal Subject, the OG, Big Brando, what's happening? Um, I wish Impressions would do an expo in St. Louis. Yeah, man, hit them up and be like, yo, come to St. Louis, man. 12 by 12 print, probably a dollar. 24 by 24, um, 50 cents to a dollar. Oh, for consumable costs. I see what you're saying. I need that hat. Yeah, if these hats work out for me, then I'm gonna release them in store. That's basically where you buy these, like my LA hats and stuff like that. I sell them in store. Let me see. How's the True Spec? Man, I love the True Spec, man. That thing is dope. Are you going to Impressions? I'll be there Thursday for sure. Not 100% sure what time on Friday, and for sure I won't be there Saturday. But I will be there as of right now, 100% for sure on Thursday, all day Thursday. I'll be cruising around, drinking some beers, looking at booths, doing my own research, talking to the people. It's about it, man. That's all I really go there for. Um, Chances are you'll catch me out there with G6 Customs, drinking beers, hanging out, trying to stand next to him if he wins another raffle, because I'm trying to get some of that luck. But that's another thing. If you're going to Impressions and you see any raffles going on where they're like, yo, we're giving this away, all you got to do is sign up for this, sign up for everything. I've seen people win at this thing. G6 Customs won at this thing. It happens. So sign up for all the raffles that are there. Have you looked into doing screen printing? I used to screen print. That's how I got into just printing in general. Is I was a screen printer in the 90s, and then I noticed that I can do more and control my inventory with a heat press outside of screen printing, because screen printing, the process is the same whether you print one t-shirt or you print 1,000 t-shirts. It's gonna be the same. You still have to burn the screens. You still have to, the whole process from coating the screen with emulsion. And even if you already pre-burn the screen, right? Let's say you burn the screen, you print it once, you put the screen up on the shelf, setup and cleanup is still going to be the same. You still have to put the ink on there. You still have to flood the screen with ink. You have to push the ink through the screen onto the t-shirt. You still have to cure the t-shirt into the dryer. And then when you're done, doesn't matter how many you made, reclaim the ink, clean the screen, because if you don't clean the screen and you put it up on the shelf, the ink's going to harden onto the screen and then kill the screen off. So you still have to set up and clean up the same exact way. Once I figured that out and I was like, yo, this is hard if I just wanted to like control my inventory by like printing one or two t-shirts instead of pre-printing everything, get a heat press. I found transfers. I found transfers at Impressions Expo years ago. And then I was like, yo, this is the way I'm going to run my business. Never looked back ever since. Never even thought about getting back into screen printing because it doesn't make sense for me. So stayed away from it. One, I don't got the space for it no more. And then two, it's just a messy thing to get into. You know what I mean? Anybody here for Beats is going? I haven't talked to Rye in a long time, man. Probably last time I talked to Rye was like last year impressions time, man. G6 Custom said Rye Beats is not going. Let me see. It's my first time going to impressions. Looking forward to it and being able to network with other people who are starting off as well. That's the best place to do it. Talking to people out there. You'll be in a booth looking at blank t-shirts, somebody else, and all you got to be is like, yo, what do? You print, you whatever. Start the conversation, and it's good to go from there. Exchange information. You'll find so many dope resources going to this thing. Um, so networking is a must when you go there. If you're not a talker, not a problem. Don't go to network. Go to do research for your brand. You know what I mean? Find blanks, find transfers, find the equipment that you need there, and really utilize everything they have to offer at the Impressions Expo. Impressions Expo don't pay me. I've never spoken at the I've never spoken on a stage or in a seminar at Impressions or for Impressions. I've done it for Racoma and some of these other booths that used to be there. But outside of that, I do not ever work with Impressions. Not because I don't want to, they just don't know I exist. But I talk about this show all the time because it's very beneficial for business owners and brand owners like ourselves to go there and be able to like really feel the samples and see them in person and stuff like that. Screen printing is a pain in the ass. Hell yeah, but I love it. I love the print process, man. Don't get me wrong. I love the print process, but I still use transfers all the time. Everything has its place. Everything does have its place. And I enjoy the screen print process. I enjoy learning the craft and I love it. But for business, it's not for me. That's why I don't do it anymore. What advice can you give on someone selling their clothing brand out the trunk? Selling your brand out the trunk is hard as hell. I've done it myself. What I utilized mostly was social media to drive the traffic to my trunk so then people show up when I'm out selling it. If you're just trying to cold sell people on the street, very hard to do because nobody walking on the street is in the mood to buy t-shirts. Like if you really wrap your brain around that, nobody in their right mind walking down the street or wherever you're parked at with your trunk is in the mood to buy a t-shirt. Food, yeah, somebody might be hungry, be like, yo, this guy's selling tacos, this guy's selling candy or whatever. Cool. But t-shirts, nobody just walking on the street is in the mood to buy a t-shirt. So cold selling t-shirts like that, very hard to do. And I've done everything from being on Hollywood Boulevard with a megaphone yelling at people because I was selling stuff out of my trunk. But a lot of people were doing that at the time. Like a lot of people were selling mixtape CDs at the time on Hollywood Boulevard out the car. Not a lot of people selling like their clothing brand, but a lot of people selling like pre-made merch, like concert t-shirts and bootleg jerseys and stuff like that. Um, and I did horrible out there because foot traffic was good, but nobody was in the mood to stop and hear your story about your new clothing brand and what these t-shirts meant and blah blah blah. So utilize social media to build up the following, so then that way you could show everything. So treat social media like the window of your retail store. Show your products, show what your brand's all about, and then get them to go to wherever you're at. Same, this is when I did it, I used the same model that the food trucks were using. A food truck would be like, come buy these tacos at this location on this day from this time to this time. And then people that want tacos go there to buy the tacos. I took this same strategy from them. So I'll post up the t-shirt, bing, this is what I'm selling. This is the parking lot I'm going to be at on this street and this street. I'll be here from this time to this time. Pop my trunk and just wait for people to pull up. But I utilize social media to do the talking for me. So that way I didn't have to try to cold sell people out there. And then if I'm in the parking lot and people are pulling up to buy the shirts, onlookers will see, hey, what the hell's going on over there? What's he selling? Like here in LA, there's always a tamale man out here at whatever grocery store you're at selling tamales. So it's like I'm using the same thing. Like you walk by, I'm like, yo, this dude selling tamales. Hell yeah, I'll buy some from you. That's what I'm doing, is creating the excitement around what I'm doing. So onlookers will see and then they'll come. They have to see somebody else buying something, like a regular stranger has to see somebody else buying something from you to build that trust in their head. Like, all right, this guy's legitimate. If this guy's buying something, I'll go check out what he's selling. This same exact thing was for like bootleg CDs and bootleg DVDs. Like this is the era that I come from, where CD towers of burning CDs and bootlegging stuff was an easy call for people to make money. So when people were out selling CDs and DVDs in parking lots, I was selling t-shirts in parking lots. Same thing. If you ever wanted to see how I was doing that 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, if you go to Gardena Originals, the Instagram page, Gardena Originals, scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see how I sold stuff in out the trunk. You'll see the flyer I would post of where I would be with the shirt that I'm selling. You would see a post of my old Honda Pilot with the trunk popped open of me selling. You would see everything from me selling in bars and how I used to sell t-shirts at bars, how I used to do scavenger hunts around my city. All of that stuff is on there, so you could check it out on how I used to do it. If you wanted to like clarification on what do you mean use social media and blah blah blah, that's how I did it. Was it made it easier, you know what I mean, way easier to sell that way. But selling out the trunk isn't everything that it's cracked up to be. People like to do it for for the story and be like, "Yo, man, I've been selling out the trunk." Da 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 da. That's cool, but at the same exact time, if the idea is profit, there's other ways of selling your clothes, man. Doing an online store is probably your best bet. You'll make a gang of money doing it that way, because buying stuff online is so normalized now. You know what I mean? Let me see. Screen printing is definite art. Hell yeah, it is, man. Um, I wear my brand everywhere, and if someone asks about it, then I hook them up. That's exactly the best way of doing it. You're your own walking billboard, man. Your own walking billboard. Let me see. 90s was a good time. I was a mixtape DJ. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I want to buy a DTF printer. Which ones do you recommend? I don't recommend any DTF printers, man. Tell you the truth. DTF printers are a pain in the ass. The biggest pain in the ass is white ink clogs the print head. Doesn't matter how many cleaning cycles it runs, self-cleaning things it has, white ink will always clog the print head. Doesn't matter if it's DTG, DTF, until a company makes a white ink that will not clog a print head, it's always going to happen. The reason I say that is because print heads cost a lot. So if your print head goes down, your machine is down. And chances are, whoever, I don't care who you buy your printer from, that print company is going to upcharge the print head because they understand it's going to go down. It's a no brainer that it is. So when it goes down and your machine's down and you got orders backed up and you need to do it, now you're going to be paying 2, 3 grand for a print head that only costs like 70 bucks. Reason I say all that is because I've had DTG printers, DTF printers, and the same exact things happen. It doesn't fail. It's going to go down. So you have to baby it. You got to understand how that thing works. So I don't recommend it. I always recommend people buying their transfers from somebody else. So then that way you let that other person deal with all those headaches when it comes to that printer. Now, if you're like, yeah, I don't care about what you're saying, I still want to buy this printer. I don't believe you that that's going to happen because the salesman said this print head's not going to go down. Go for it. You buy the printer. I have no recommendations on any printer out there. Ask the people that are using them on social media. T-shirt Buddy, Merch Studios, A-Dub Productions, Heart and Hustle, Rye Beats. Who else has Oh, no, I already said Merch Studio. Mike T's, Crispy Prints. All of these guys have printers and they sell transfers. Ask what printers they use, ask what inks they use, and then go based on their recommendations. For me, I say stay away from it. Buy your transfers from those guys instead of buying the printer because the printer is a pain in the ass. If you don't mind tinkering with it, babying that thing, doing daily maintenance and all that, then go for it. But for myself, hell no, man. I know you're a big advocate for Supercolor, but have you ever used Ninja Transfers? I've never used Ninja Transfers. I see their ads like everybody else does, but I've never had a need to use Ninja Transfers because I found transfer companies that already work for me. So I just use, like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I just use what works for myself. Until the day Ninja Transfers shows up here in Gardena, California and says, "Hey, I got transfers that are better than Supercolor and that are cheaper than Supercolor," then I'll think about using them. But until then, Supercolor is located right here. They used to be in Gardena, now they're in Hawthorne, which is still close. They still turn around my transfers quick. There hasn't been any transfer company to come close to the quality and durability of that transfer. So I'm not going to switch up just because I see some fancy ad. It's more about what works for myself is what I use. I don't like I tell people that's who I use, but I never say go out and buy those transfers from them and stop using your transfer company and go there because everybody's going to use the company that makes sense to them. Whether Ninja Transfers is close to you or whether you like their pricing or their prints or whatever it is. I'm never going to try to sway you into like, yo, use what I use. I'm just letting people know what I use. It works for me. If it works for me, it might work for you, but you don't have to use what I use. That's the difference between like me trying to sell you something and me just saying this is what I use, man. Like if somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, what transfers is that?" It's like, "Yo, this is Supercolor. How come you don't use this company?" I'm like, "Fuck, they're not close to me. I don't think they're gonna be as good of quality as this transfer right here. You don't have to use them, but you can if you wanted to. You know what I mean?" But I've seen the ads. There's millions of transfer companies out there. You know what I mean? And for me, it's like, why am I why am I going to stop using this company for this other company? There has to be some sort of big significant difference in the transfers that's going to make me be like, yo, I'm going to use this one because this one right here is cheaper, it's closer to me proximity, they turn it around in 2 hours. um the I could get 150 washes before the transfer even has an issue, things like that, you know what I mean? uh that's why I don't necessarily look for other transfer companies unless it's like Puff or something that Supercolor doesn't offer. Then I'll have to go and look for that elsewhere. But for the most part, it's just I use what works for myself, man. I highly recommend everybody doing that. Find something that works for you, stick with it, and you use that because you have to be confident in the stuff that you offer your customers. If you're using a million different transfers, how are you so confident that each transfer is going to be as consistent as the last batch? You know what I mean? You have to like go through the motions and actually order and keep ordering and then compare them to everything that's going on. So then that way you could be like, yo, this is a really good, decent transfer company. I feel confident offering this to my customers. And I feel that, whatever my customer throws at it, puts it in the washing machine, washes it, dries it on high, on hot, on the hottest setting, the transfer is not gonna like mess up. You have to be that confident in everything. So, when people use like a million different transfer companies and they're testing things out, cool. But when it comes to retail, I need to be like really confident in what I'm offering. So I know that that transfer is not going to fall off the t-shirt for one. The print's not going to crack, or it's not going to fade. It's not going to bleed in the wash. I need to know how it's going to hold up. So when I find that, I use that because I'm confident in using it. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people think, nah, you only talk about them because you're getting paid by them. That's not the case, man. I talk about blank t-shirts all day long, and no blank t-shirt pays me for anything. I have an affiliate account with like Heat Press Nation, but I've been using Heat Press Nation presses before I got onto YouTube. So it's not nothing new. If you went back and looked at my very first heat press video, you'll see a signature series press. And that's before they know I existed. You know what I mean? It's I don't go based on who's paying me to do this stuff. I'm just showing you guys this is what I do for my business. If you want to do it, cool. If you don't, so be it, man. You don't have to do what I do. You know what I mean? But I do like sharing the information. I highly, highly enjoy sharing the information with people because there are people out there that need that information and just need a little bit of guidance, and they're just looking for somewhere to start. And that's what I'm trying to provide is just somewhere to start. The stuff that I use, it's not the end all be all. That's what it is for me, but it might not be that for you. So you could just do whatever you want, but you have somewhere to start. Like, all right, he's using these blank t-shirts. Let me try them out. Then you get them, like, no, I don't like them. Not my fault, not your fault. It's just you testing the shit out. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a head start on where to get going, and then you guys grow from wherever you guys want to. You know what I mean? Um, Let me see. Lots of bad reviews from others about Ninja. Yeah, some people like them, some people don't. Some people are affiliated with them, some people aren't. You know what I mean? I hate that Ninja transfers run ads on national TV. Yeah, thanks for cutting me off at the knees. That's what it is, man. They're really good at advertising. They run their stuff everywhere. What are good quality shirts but affordable? What I like is AS Color Block. That's an affordable t-shirt, very dope. Smart Blank has one also. And who else has a good one right now? Shockaware Active is still dope. Pretty affordable. Pro Club Comfort is the other one. Good, affordable, not a lot of color options. Shockaware, not a lot of color options. AS Color Block, decent amount of color options. Smart Blank, so when it comes to color options. But I would say those are affordable. Let me see. Would you say embroidery, just like DTF, is better to let someone else take care of because of cost? Yes and no. There's a million different ways to print on t-shirts. DTF, DTG, screen printing, vinyl, sublimation. There's a lot of different ways to print on t-shirts to achieve what you want. When it comes to embroidery, there's only one way to do it, embroidery, and that's it. Um, so if you were looking into getting into the embroidery business, I would say outsource and middleman it as long as you can for a year. That's what I did to see if there's a justifiable amount of money to be made if you own your own machine. Now, if you do that and you're like, oh, you know what, I only took in 4 embroidery jobs throughout the year, it doesn't justify to buy a whole machine for that. Just keep outsourcing it. But until you're like really ready to invest into an embroidery machine, because the things could be like 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, depending on the size and stuff like that. That's a big, hefty price tag. But the only way to accomplish the look and feel of actual embroidery is to actually embroider it. So, like I said, with t-shirt printing, there's a million different ways to like decorate on the garment, but there is only one way to embroider. So if you wanted to get into the embroidery space before you buy a machine, outsource it. Find a local embroidery shop and outsource all your embroidery just to see how much money that could be made if you did it yourself. And if you're like, yo, I only did like 10 jobs throughout the year, that's not enough to buy a machine. Don't buy the machine, keep outsourcing it. But then if you do enough jobs to be like, yo, I made like 50K off of embroidery that I left on the table and I was paying somebody else to do, I could be doing it myself. That'll pay your machine off. So that's what I did. I outsourced embroidery my whole time. And then when I was like, yo, I want to buy a machine, let me outsource it and track my numbers for the whole year. So I tracked my numbers on how much embroidery work I was doing for myself, like hats that I was selling. I was putting those numbers into Excel and I was like, all right, I'm selling this many hats. I'm selling this many, I'm doing this many colorways on hats. And then I'm taking in this much embroidery work outside. So like I'm stitching for other people and I'm middlemaning the job. And I'm just taking it, bringing it to the embroidery shop, delivering it to the customer. I'm taking a little bit off the top, but that's what I was doing. And then I was like, yo, well, I'm making this much money. I could just buy my own machine. I get my own machine and I pay my machine off in less than 6 months because I already had the work already ready. It was going. I buy my machine. I paid off in less than 6 months. I think I paid it off like in four of how much work was coming in and how much I was using it, and it paid itself off fast. So then that way I didn't feel the hurt of that big price tag. It was just done. So I highly recommend everybody doing it that way. So that way, before you invest all your money into it, you at least have the bankroll of coming in and the work already ready to go if you do get a machine. But if you don't get a machine, not the end of the world. Just outsource it, man. Let the other people deal with it. You know what I mean? Hopefully that helps you out. Like, and I could be a jerk. I'm an affiliate with Racoma now. So I could be like, yo, hit up Racoma using my link and buy a machine. I'm not trying to put you in debt. I just want to make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into and the safer way of doing it if you were thinking about getting into that space. You know what I mean? Because it's not my job to put you into debt. It's my job to help you make money with whatever the hell you're doing. You know what I mean? All right. That is the way I was feeling. Hell yeah. Do it that way, man. Starting out, should you worry about tags or just put your logo name on the hat and shirt? Don't even put your logo and name on the shirt. Nobody cares about your logo. Nobody cares about your name. Make designs that relate to the target audience of who you're trying to sell to. Your target audience don't give a shit about your name. Your target audience don't give a shit about your tags. Your target audience don't care about your size tag and your logo in there. Your target audience is buying the t-shirt for the t-shirt design on the outside. Pay more attention to your customers and who you're selling to and design for them. Make something that they want. Let me see. Appreciate you for responding to my comment. Not a problem. Read through some of these here. When you outsource your embroidery, did you find a big difference in quality and vendors? Is there a wholesale approach to that? I didn't find a wholesale approach to that because nobody, like the stuff that I was doing 72-piece runs, sometimes 48-piece runs, or maybe like two different 48-piece runs. I wasn't doing nothing crazy, but I did notice checking proof samples is very key when it comes to embroidery. So the proof sample is they embroider this hat for you. They call you, you go and check it out, and then you look at it and be like, "Yo, does the stitching look good? Does placement look good? Everything about the hat, does it look good to you?" When you check that, what ends up happening is they're going to run every single hat the same exact way they showed you in the proof sample. There's so many embroidery shops that used to be like, "Yo, let me just send you some pictures of the finished hat," and there's a light right here and you can see that it's overly contrast right now, right? So it looks like, oh man, yeah, that thing's all white, it looks good. But if you look at it close, it's easy to have white foam underneath here poking out. This one doesn't. But I'm saying in a picture from this far away with really, really harsh lighting, it'll look like it's fully filled in. So on a picture, you'll buy it off and be like, yo, that looks good, man, run it. And then you run that hat and they run 48 pieces and then you go pick it up and then you're like, yo, why is there foam poking out of the A and why is there foam poking out on the L? And they're like, well, you bought it off. So we just ran it the way you said run it. So going to check your proof sample live in person matters so you could see it for yourself and you could be up in it and be like, yo, this doesn't look right or something's off here, or fill this part in a little bit more. And they could correct that before you actually run your full job. That's what I noticed when outsourcing embroidery was there were some shops that were just trying to cut corners and just like, no, we just want to start running it. So we'll send you pictures, you buy it off through email and then run it. And then it happened to me where I bought it off and I just looked at it and I'm like, yeah, it looks cool. And then I get the hats in person. I'm like, yo, why can't I see the foam? And they're like, yo, you bought it off though. You said it was cool to run it like as is. And I was just like, never again am I going to check a proof sample through pictures or video. I'm going to see it for myself. With my clothing brand, I only have a single head embroidery machine. So I take my largest hoop and basically make a bunch of patches, then heat apply them to the t-shirts. There you go. Nothing wrong with that, man. Let me see, Mr. Brando, are you going to be at Impressions on Thursday? I am going to be at Impressions on Thursday in Kappas. I think that's your name. But yeah, I'll be there on Thursday. Might have missed it, but did you save up for the Racoma or did you finance it? I financed it. Like I said, I paid that sucker off in 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. It was under 6 months. Could you share? Could you share some flock shirt tips? I don't know nothing about flock. How to fold inside the plastic bag, for example. Wait, how to fold inside the plastic bag? Like how to fold a t-shirt and put it into a plastic bag? This is the best advice I could give you. Fold a t-shirt the way you would fold it for retail. Measure it. And then from that measurement, you buy plastic bags that match those dimensions. So if you fold the shirt to 9 by 12, buy bags that are 9 by 12, slide those babies in. You know what I mean? What DTF transfer print company do you recommend? I would say Merch Studio here on TikTok, that t-shirt dude. No, not that t-shirt dude. The t-shirt buddy, Crispy Prints, Mike T's to start off. Those are like good DTF transfer companies to go through. Let me see. Thanks for everything. Hope to see you and everybody Friday. There you go. If you're going to Impressions Expo, G6 Customs, follow G6 Custom Designs. He's hosting a dope ass meet and greet to get everybody within the industry into one area. We did it last year. He's doing it again. He's going to let everybody know the location. So follow him. If you're at Impressions in Long Beach, G6 Custom Designs, follow him for the meetup information. I want to target other small businesses like shops and restaurants. Is that a good move? Hell yeah, that's a good move. There's a lot of money to be made. I used to do that too. The best way to do it, man, is go local. Like walk into your local pizza shop, walk into your local coffee shop and be like, yo, why don't your employees have matching shirts? Or why don't they have matching aprons on? Let me help you out. I could do this kind of stuff for you. Or why aren't you selling t-shirts to your customers? Because your customers love your pizza. You should have your pizza logo with all the information on there. They're walking billboards. It's an easy sell and an easy way to get some money. I used to do that all the time. How do you edit your YouTube videos? How can you get a vector like you use? I edit all my videos through the YouTube ones on Adobe Premiere. I do all of my editing on Adobe Premiere, upload it, say no more. Short form videos, I use CapCut. How do you get a vector like you use? What do you mean a vector? Like my little logo? I create my little logo, save it as a PNG with a transparent background. So like, let's say you film videos at 1080 quality. So your aspect ratio would be 1920 by 1080. Create that on Photoshop, 1920 by 1080. Drop your little logo in, put it down on the corner wherever you want it. Save that as a template. You'll be good to go. You'll use that on every single video. Then when you edit your video in Adobe, you just bring that in as an overlay. Bingo, put that on there, and then it'll be on all the time. You have to save it as a PNG with a transparent background sized correctly. So know the aspect ratio that you're going to put your YouTube video out in. If it's 4K, get the dimensions for 4K. If it's 1080, get the dimensions for 1080. create it, and then boom, put it on there. You'll be good to go. Photons is a good place to start. I don't know what photons is. Photo P. I don't know what that is either. Try DTF prints from Jiffy. My goodness, one came with a letter from the graphic floating around in the package. Oh, what the hell? Others had defects. Got a total refund. Thanks for your recommendations. I will try one. Christine Maldonado. The reason I like saying use people like Merch Studios and the T-shirt Buddy and Crispy Prints is because um, they're I don't want to just call them content creators. They're business owners, but they show themselves printing using their machines, packing orders. You could see the care that goes into each print, the quality control. With these bigger companies, you don't get a chance to see that kind of stuff. So I like being able to see who's printing my stuff and the care that goes into it and the quality control that goes into it and them maintaining their machines and the cleanliness of their shop. I like seeing all that stuff. So for me, I would highly recommend going to people like Merch Studios and the T-shirt Buddy and Crispy Prints because all of their videos are showing them running their machines every single day. So you could see what goes into your print. You know what I mean? That's why I highly recommend going with people that are showing their what they're doing. G6 Custom, perfect example. Sticker printer. He shows himself cutting stickers, printing stickers all day long on his social media. If you wanted to buy die cut stickers, you would buy from somebody that you get a chance to see them doing it. And it's basically giving you an insider look of their shop, of their operation. You know what I mean? Um, I like that. You know what I mean? Photo P is like Photoshop for free online. Oh, there you go. So if whoever was trying to make YouTube logos, you can use Photo P if you don't have Photoshop. I use Photoshop, so it makes it easier for myself. But save it as a PNG. That's the important part. Save it as a PNG with a transparent background. Important part. How important is your brand name if your logo is fire? Not important at all. Ain't nobody checking for that shit. You could basically be Society Tees, right? If that's your name, Society Experiment. Nobody cares right now. At the very beginning stages of this, nobody cares about what the logo is, what the brand name is. What they care about is the design that's on the t-shirt that relates to them. In order to get somebody to buy something from you, they have to be interested in it. It's easy to relate certain things to your target audience and make things for your customers for them to get it. And then launching stuff with like brand names and logos when you are an established brand. But when you're just starting out, most people just go heavy on the logo tees when they're first starting and they have a hard time getting off the ground because nobody's buying their logo tees or nobody's checking for it. Or you might think the logo's fire, but your customers might not think so. And then you're stuck with a bunch of t-shirts you can't sell. So always making stuff that's relatable to the customer will help you out in the long run. If you don't want to take my advice, you don't have to. You can be like, man, this guy don't know what he's talking about. I'm gonna sell my logo tees all day long. And you could do perfectly fine by doing that. But in my experience of doing this, logo tees is the hardest thing because everybody's trying to do it. That's the hard part. Everybody's trying to sell a logo tee. Everybody's clothing brand is a lifestyle. Everybody's clothing brand is a movement. Everybody's clothing brand is not just a clothing brand, it's a whole lifestyle. Everybody has the same story. So, how are you going to set yourself apart from what everybody else is doing? By making something relatable to your customers. That's how it works. I'm not a dream killer, but I'm trying to get you to understand that realistically speaking, that's how the shit works. Best way to research and find graphic designers for a range of budgets. Probably using something like Fiverr. That's where you'll find some people. Are the mini hat presses good for DTF prints? The ones that cost like $57 instead of a big hat press machine? That part I don't know. I don't know anything about those little small ones, man. I use a regular cap press. I don't use like the little irons, the little mini ones. I don't know anything about them, so I don't know if they're good or they're bad. I can't say anything about them because I've never used them. I sell my merch on Shopify and also print for people. How should I set up my business to move forward and make it legit? That part's going to be totally up to you. Um, I can't really help with that only because I don't know the inner workings of your business. If you're printing for other people and you're selling your own branded stuff, then you're just going to have to basically figure out where the money's coming in from and how you want to structure your business. Structuring the business is a unique thing to you and you only. You know what I mean? So I can't be like, yeah, this is how you should do it because it's hard to say when you don't know everything that goes into the business or I'm not even a part of your business. You know what I mean? Um, but the probably the best way is if you talk to your CPA, whoever does your taxes, and you let them know exactly what you're trying to do, they'll be able to help you out because there are certain things that they would know of that I personally don't know of. I'm not a CPA and I can't give you like financial advice and stuff. And I'm not even a lawyer where I could give you legal advice. So it all comes down to like how you want to structure your own business, what makes sense to you, how you're planning on running it. Like right now, your brand might be doing good on Shopify, but 6 months from now, your brand might take a shit. And then if you structure your business around the brand and the brand takes a shit and now you're changing your name 6 months later, now what? Right. So now you have to really figure out how you want to structure your business to make it work for you longevity wise, where it's just a sustainable thing, if that makes any sense. How much merch and hats is good to start out? You can start out with one t-shirt in each size, one colorway, one of each size. And as you sell one thing, take the profit from there and buy two more of that same size that you sold out in. And then keep building your inventory that way. You don't have to start out with fucking 10 dozen of each size or whatever the case is. Start out with one thing. And then as things sell, replenish and keep building from there. Don't break the bank like just trying to appease the audience because your customers are never going to know your inventory. When have you went to Foot Locker and they told you, all right, we have this many shoes in stock right now? They don't tell you the inventory. You don't never have to tell your customers your inventory. So all you have to do is just start out with one. For all they know, you have 20 of each size or 50 of each size, but you only have one. You sell one, take the money and profit from there, and buy two more and start replenishing all the things that you're doing. Because if you bought 50 size smalls and 50 mediums, 50 larges, and let's say small and medium don't sell, now you're stuck with 50 smalls and 50 mediums when you could have used that money for the popular sizes, large, extra large. How are you going to find out your popular size? By people buying shit from you. So, like I said, you'll know your popular sizes by somebody buying one thing from you. You take the money, buy two more of that thing. You're replenishing what you're selling, and then you're also adding one on top. And if that keeps happening, somebody keeps buying larges, you keep doing the same thing. Sell one, buy two more. Sell one, buy two more. You'll keep building up your inventory that way as fast as possible. And you're only buying the popular stuff. The stuff that's selling is what you're replenishing. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, you got to start with fucking 2 dozen of each size and blah, blah, blah. It's not needed, man. It's really not needed. Customers ain't never going to know your inventory ever. Question: I made a design using a scene from a classic hood movie. What would you say my target audience is for stuff like that? Because I don't really know my target like you be explaining. Your target would be people that watched that movie before. They would understand that movie scene, right? So whoever watched that movie would be a target audience of yours. How big of a table do I need for my clamshell heat press? Measure the heat press, the base of it, and then buy a table based on those dimensions. Don't buy a table based on what I say. Buy a table based on whatever heat press you have. Measure like the base of it, and buy a table that thing will sit on, nice and perfect. Because if I say, yeah, man, just get a 6 foot by 2 foot table, and then you're like, yo, this shit don't even fit on there. It doesn't make sense. Measure the base of your heat press, and then you'll be good. Should I start a brand or should I sell random designs? I think you answer that for yourself, ASMR. I don't know anything about what you're doing. I can't tell you, yeah, start a brand. You're like, I don't got any designs for a brand. I just got random designs. If that's the case, just sell your random designs. Though stuff like that is just based on what you think is going to work best for you. If you're asking because you just are looking for validation from somebody to say, yeah, do this, and that was what you were thinking, don't search for that kind of validation. I think that in this business, you have to be a free thinker. You think for yourself. The more you ask other people to think for you, the more you just become a follower and not a free thinker as a business owner. So I encourage people and I highly, highly recommend people to be free thinkers in this business because this is your business. This is my business. I have no business in your business, your way, your rules, your ideas. Don't ever let somebody else think for you. Transfers, top 5 recommendations, super color. Knock it out easy for you. Any advice on doing a flea market May 1st? Know the people that are going to be attending the flea market. Only bring your popular things, things that you've already previously sold that did good for you, things that would relate to the people attending the flea market. Only bring the bangers. Don't waste your time bringing a bunch of stuff that you don't feel 100% confident in because it's just going to take up space and cause confusion to the actual person buying. Only bring the things that, like, let's say this hat was my banger of a hat where I was just like, I sold a bunch of these already. I know people are going to like this hat. Guess what? I'm only bringing this hat. I'm not going to bring some other hats that I don't know is going to sell because I only want to see success. If I'm bringing products to the flea market to sell, I want to leave that flea market with nothing, meaning I want to sell out of everything that I bring over there. So make sure you do that. Make sure you only bring the things you're confident in. And let's say you're confident in 10 things and you have success in selling those 10 things. Narrow it down to 5. That way, you're not creating so much confusion. You don't want to go there and have a bunch of different options for somebody to look at. They get overwhelmed and like, oh, you know what? I'll come back next time and shop with you. You want to make it easier for the shopper if it's live in person. You know what I mean? Let me see. What's a good profit margin? It all depends on you. How much you're spending on blank T-shirts. How much you're buying your transfers for. How much is your time and labor worth to you? I don't know what you're sacrificing, whether you're taking away time with your kids or time with your spouse or whatever it is. It all depends on basically you. Thanks, bro. Not a problem. Let me see. All right, man. I appreciate everybody for jumping on. I think we did like almost 2 hours here. If you wanted to rewatch this, you can always go to YouTube and rewatch this live stream if there's some information you heard on here that you wanted to rewatch, but I highly recommend it. You'll follow me on YouTube, subscribe. I think that's what you do on YouTube. Um, I go live every single Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on TikTok, on YouTube. And then also, if you wanted to, if you're going to be at the Impressions Expo, I'll be there Thursday. Say what's up. If you see me there, down to chop it up with everybody that I meet. But I appreciate everybody for even rocking with me and jumping on this live stream, man. And we've been at it for, like I said, almost 2 hours. Will you make merch for people? No. I don't print for anybody no more. I just print for myself. I teach people how to do it for themselves. So then you don't got to pay somebody like me to do it for you. You know what I mean? But I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all for watching. Catch you guys on the next one. If not, I'll see you guys at the Impressions Expo. All right. Peace.